Oh my god, look at this. Oh man. What's up, y'all? Welcome to the first episode of the Kinda Review Show, where I kind of review things I've watched and maybe things I don't watch. I don't know. It's gonna happen whenever I feel like it. But this Happy New Year's, Merry Christmas, Happy Holiday. You know, just for the sake of it, one sec. Christmas decorations, happy holidays. Okay, back to the studio. Cool. So, as I was saying, this is the show where I kind of review things, not too in depth because I don't got time for that. So, I'm going to do some art for everything I talk about. I think that's going to be the fun thing when I start watching really shitty stuff, really bad movies and things. So if you got suggestions, let me know. I think it'd be hilarious to draw something super elaborate just for something people won't want, you know? So that's a thing. But I couldn't really focus on the holidays. Christmas happened, I guess, barely. 2020 doesn't exist. It doesn't count. More so than anything, I was like way too consumed and depressed because Haikyuu ended. If you don't know what Haikyuu is, the fuck, man, go watch some anime. All right? Oh, watch anime. Oh, get it. Get it. All right? Go get it. But anyways, I was too depressed because, man, look at this shit. Nice dump, Kageyama. When are you going to dump like that again, man? How you doing, bud? Hey, I know you're having a hard time because
what, you gonna dump like that again?
Haikyuu just ended.
Nata, man.
You doing okay?
You're not even the greatest decoy. You're just
hey, have you thought about trying some other shows?
No.
I just finished watching One Punch Man, and it's this dude, he's got whole he punches everything one punch. It's crazy. It just kills everybody in one hit. You know, imagine if you only touched somebody once too. Like, can you control the power? It's really short. What's going on here?
This one touch. You know, like when you have a nice receive, and they go.
But first things first, here on this beautiful, super expensive TV, I'm gonna have the art and we'll switch back and forth. That's what's gonna happen. So I'll touch on the art a little bit just to get it out of the way because honestly, there's not much to say. I wanted to draw Haikyuu things because I was missing Haikyuu, and I wanted to be even more sad after I finished realizing that I don't know when it's gonna be back. And now I have this giant ass piece to remind me that I'm gonna be sad. That's not back. So shout out to my friend who she got all the references because she's a Haikyuu addict. All right, she probably had half of these already saved. I was like, yo, can you help me get some references of all the characters, all the players in Haikyuu that are kind of relevant? She's like, what's relevant? What about this dude? What about that? And I was like, who the fuck? He's like, oh, it's that one dude that showed up in episode 2 of season 3 for about 10 seconds. You know that guy that he had that one scene where he said 2 words. I'm like, yeah, sure. That's what I want. Relevant. And I can't even be mad. There's something commendable about that. But yeah, shout out to her. So I just kind of took all the stuff. I sketched it out digitally first. All right. Because I didn't have time or the confidence to draw everything traditionally. Inking was fine, you know. It was supposed to be kind of messy, kind of free flowing. It's cool. I use the most basic ass brushes. It's just a standard round brush. All right, nothing special. That's about it. Don't forget though, the colors do matter. They matter more than anything. If you fuck up the colors during your sketch, everything will go wrong. There wasn't really much of a struggle because, you know, I'm the best. The toughest part was organizing everything, like where to put everybody, and made it kind of work. Initially, I kind of wanted to like full body pieces. Maybe I'll do something a little bit more elaborate like that. That takes up way more time. So with the art stuff, let's get out of the way so I can start talking about Haikyuu. All right, so did the sketches. I put all the Karasuno characters on top, even the more minor ones that we kind of know, you know, from being in the show. And the bottom ones, the teams are all kind of oriented together. While I was sketching it out, I did actually the colors did matter because I sketched in the color of the team colors for all those teams so that it was easier to kind of keep them all together. Since, man, I don't know half of these people's names. It's the Shiratori Aobajo Sai. Why are there so many fucking names? These jokes make no sense to anybody who's never seen Haikyuu. You know, graphic design is my passion, obviously. You want to keep something in mind when it comes to composition. Bigger means your eye gets drawn to it, which means they're more important. That's one way to draw someone's eye to something. So a lot of the characters that were more important are a little bit bigger. That's about it. Every single head sketch took maybe like a minute or two. I just wanted to get to inking. Inking honestly didn't take the longest I thought it would, but really it was orienting everything. I just used some Sharpies for the sketching. Honestly, they were kind of thicker than I expected them to be. But who doesn't like them thick, you know? Shoot me. But it's all good. I worked with it, you know, just keep a light hand, if you will. I sketched it out initially the way it was, and you'll see it kind of transition to a second half where I'm coloring in more black because I didn't really have it super planned out. I was just like, okay, let me see how it looks, and maybe I'll make the logo black to balance out all the white space, but I decided to do it the other way around and put more black space. It was a little tough, I will say, to kind of keep the shape and form, but it wasn't that tough for me because, you know, again, I'm God. You know? It was so tough. Had so much trouble. That was about it. You know, I kept it really loose, kept it kind of scratchy, and honestly, the key to this is just being confident with it. I used to sketch and draw a lot with permanent materials, you know, like cement and diamonds, you know, and then I took it down a notch and used Sharpies. So that's about it, really, for the art aspect. I honestly do recommend people, regardless if you're usually a traditional artist or digital artist or whatever, it doesn't matter, that you work in mediums that are more permanent or put that challenge on yourself so that it forces you to be more confident in the lines and just not caring, learning to not care as much, getting into that mindset. Although I do understand that there might be the reverse effect where like you're working in permanent medium and you're like, oh fuck, well, every stroke matters, and then it just fucking sucks. But you'll get over that because you have to. You're just gonna have to be like, oh well, I fucked up this one, on to the next one. Now about Haikyuu. All right, so with Haikyuu, all right, so this was season 4, part 2 of season 4, I believe. But I'm only really gonna talk about this season. I'll touch on how it kind of compares, in my opinion, to the last few seasons. For the record, I haven't seen the last few seasons since they came out. I watched all of it when it was coming out. A lot of people were really ragging on the style when it came to this new season. The art style changed what seemed like super dramatically to everyone else, but to me, I don't know, maybe I'm not as good of an artist as I claim to be, because goddamn, it wasn't that big of a deal to me. It looks a little more polished and clean, and that's kind of some of the arguments I guess people were saying. It's like, I like the old art style. It looks a little bit more like, they look a little bit more real. It looks like the new art style got like baby filter on it and everyone looks too clean and stuff. And I'm like, that just seems like preference, which is fine. And I probably, when I look back now a little bit more, I'm like, yeah, I do think the old art style is a little, you know, grungier, a little bit more fitting to the show. But at the same time, this show has also been called Pretty Anime Boys That Play Volleyball. All right, this volleyball is a secondary feature, not for me, but for a lot of people. Maybe for me, man. I don't think it's that crazy. I think people are making such a goddamn big deal. Like, people fucking hated it. It was like 3 years or something between the last season and this current season, so it just looks like updated. This season's animation overall pretty good, except for these. Look at this shit. Okay, look at this shit. What the fuck happened, man? I didn't really look into it, but I think apparently, maybe I'll add like a post note. Apparently, it got pushed off into a different studio to try to get shit done. But holy fuck, man, these guys look like they're from Devilman Crybaby. I don't know, man. It looks like everyone broke their arm while in the training part of the series. What the fuck happened? And some of these screenshots, I need to look back at that episode, but some of those shots, you know, people need to know, and a lot of people like to nitpick with some animation. Like in the past before, you know, some people like, oh, this looks like trash, but they pick a screenshot where it's specifically smeared and stretched because that adds to a fluidity of animation. But this ain't that, man, because goddamn, a lot of these screenshots are just still. They're coming from still shots, and it looks bad. It's not even animation. They just fucked up the drawing. Thing is, this isn't all the episodes, and it was noticeable, but the next episode was better. The episode before was better. I will say overall, though, even with that in mind, that the other episodes were better, it still didn't feel as good of an animation overall compared to the previous season. I think it was still solid. There's another episode, I forgot which one, that people were kind of complaining about. I don't think it was as bad as that episode, like this shit. Look at all this shit. I will say the thing is with Haikyuu, at least for me, I can only speak for me, is that because the characters are so great, I didn't really notice myself, and maybe that comes with watching weekly or because I was just busier. But I saw some people complaining about more of the pacing with some of the episodes, like the animation episode. Apparently, a lot of chapters were kind of mushed in there, but I think overall the pacing was still fine. Maybe I'm just used to it because shonen anime is like that for the most part, and a lot of sports animes are like that, where it's super slow, and then sometimes it feels like everything's going on, that I'm just kind of giving it a pass. But it's fine, and I think that shows more for people who read the manga, because I think I don't know what I'm missing, and therefore like it doesn't affect me as much. I don't want to read. Okay, I decided to do art for a living for a reason. I think the more common folk, and I'm a common folk, aren't really that bothered by it. I think one of the best things about Haikyuu in comparison to like a Kuroko no Basket, which I watched when it was coming out before, and it came like right before Haikyuu came out. And I'm more of a basketball fan in real life. Like I always say, Kuroko is just Dragon Ball on a basketball court. Random shit happens, you know, they just get powers, and it's like, holy shit, okay, that's just a thing now. But Haikyuu, I feel like, you know, the characters have a little bit more realism to it. The matches have a little bit more depth. They have stakes, as opposed to in Kuroko and a lot of shonen, it just feels like they got protag armor, you know, like they're not gonna die, they're not gonna lose, or if they do, it's not really that big of a deal. And you still kind of get that, you know, as you will with every single shonen, but there's a little bit more emotional stakes. Some people are gonna leave, and I think Haikyuu also does a really good job of making us care about the opposing team as well. You kind of feel conflicted when whoever wins. You don't really, even if you want Karasuno to win, you still feel bad when they do, because the other team you kind of care about to a certain degree now. And I think that's why I love sports animes so much compared to shonen, just like battle shonen, which I do love as well. But in sports anime, like no one's really a villain. They're all striving for the same thing, and someone just has to win. And we're just following one perspective, if anything. The level of realism, if you've ever watched like a real high-level volleyball match, that shit is fucking wild. So the things that happen in Haikyuu aren't that far off. Obviously, it's still exaggerated, as any kind of content is for like action type of content for entertainment value. But it's not like Kuroko, where it's like, oh, people are just unlocking the third eye or some shit, or like pretty much telling the fucking future. So overall, you know, Haikyuu, this season at least, I give it like a 7.5, 8. Again, yeah, the animation is pretty overall, and then there's 2 episodes like really bring it down. I will say like the last 15 seconds of the last match is fucking insane. All right, it looks like they saved all their money for those last couple episodes. I feel the same way about Dragon Ball Super. where like the last fight is mind blowing. Like it's movie level animation and it's fucking ridiculous. But the rest of it is a slideshow. It's definitely not to that degree with Haikyuu and the last scene, but even within that last scene, there's a couple frames in there where I'm like, the character models look kind of off. All right, I don't know if there's anything else. Haikyuu's pretty dope. I like Haikyuu. I'm excited for the next season. Don't know if there's a release date yet, so I'll be crying myself to sleep. If there's anything you guys want me to watch and do art of, let me know. Movies are better, even if it's a bad thing. It doesn't have to be anime, by the way. I swear I like other things. I've watched one episode of How I Met Your Mother. Why is that the first? I fucking hate that show. All right, see you guys on the next one. New videos every week. Happy New Year again. Peace.